Good afternoon and welcome to Ferris State University's Admitted Student Live. I'm your host, Jason Dede from the Office of Admissions. Thank you for joining us today. Please note, we're going to be recording this presentation. We ask that you mute your audio, and we ask that any questions you have, you post those in the chat field so we can address those throughout the course of our program today. Today, Admitted Student Live is highlighting student life at Ferris State University. Joining us today from Enrollment Services, we have Eric Hainer, the Director of Orientation, and we have Jeff Stewart, an Assistant Director of Admissions, and our panelists are Justin Harden, the Director of University Recreation and Wellness, and Nick Smith, Coordinator of Activities and Student Organizations here at Ferris State. So once again, we ask that if you have questions, please post them in the chat field and we will address those questions. But right now, I think why everyone's joining us today is to find out, hey, what can I do outside of the classroom here at Ferris State? How can I stay active? How can I be involved? How can I meet people? How can I make a difference on my campus? The answers to all of those questions and many more will be coming your way this hour. And we turn to my colleague, Nick Smith, from the Center for Leadership Activities and Career Services, or as we like to call it, CLACS, to talk about what there is to do at Ferris State. Hi, Nick. Did Nick freeze on us? Looks like Nick might be frozen. We'll give Nick a moment just to get back on here. Yes, I know we are all ready for a life where we don't have to meet via Zoom on a regular basis, and we could actually have those face-to-face meetings. I know we're very excited about that here at Ferris State University, where as of right now, 84% of classes this fall are scheduled to be in person and face-to-face here at the university. And to give some reference to that or context, pre-COVID, it was 84% of our classes that were face-to-face in person. So we're stepping right back into where we were before the pandemic swept across the nation and the world. We'll give Nick a moment to come back here. In the interim, while we're waiting for Nick to rejoin us, I want to shift gears a little bit for my colleague, Eric Hainer, just to talk. We'll get to Eric a little bit later. I see Nick is back. Hello, Nick. You've come back from the world of frozen cyberspace. We are glad to see you. Nick, let's talk about getting involved in what you can do here at Ferris State.
You got it. I'm just keeping things awkward, you know. Good times. We have fun. So thank you, Jason. I don't know if you got that, but I did say that earlier before it froze. Thank you for mentioning CLACS. As a Center for Leadership Activities and Career Services, because we love acronyms in higher education, so you're going to want to get used to that. As Jason said, I'm coordinator of activities and student organizations, so I get to work a lot with the events, the big welcome activities, homecomings, small ones in between. I advise the programming board known as Entertainment Unlimited and work with the RSOs. So we'll get into some details, but I'm going to share my screen while I'm doing that. Justin, I don't know if you want to do a little more intro.
Yeah, like Jason said, I'm the director for University Recreation and Wellness Program, so I'm in charge of the Student Recreation Center on campus, free for all students who are enrolled at Ferris State. Along with that, we got a bunch of programming that we offer within our facility that I'll face with down here in a little bit.
Oh, there we go.
And okay. Nick, I do want to jump in and mention one thing. Yeah. You threw in higher ed, we love the acronyms. You threw one out there. What's an RSO, Nick?
Oh, wow. Thank you for calling me out on that. That is a registered student organization. No, that's a good one. Sometimes we use that terminology so often we forget about it. So no, thank you for pointing that one out.
Yep.
Registered student organization. We got over 200 of them, and we'll get into more detail. So everyone can see the year in the life of Bulldog? Give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to start this off with just what we'll say a typical year would be on campus in Big Rapids. And we're looking forward to a typical year. So a year in the life of the Bulldog. Oops. Yep. We'll jump through the presentation there. Okay, so we obviously start in the fall. So you'll start out with your move into campus, of course. The residence halls are great. This is obviously in August. So it's your next step kind of after orientation, you actually move in. You'll meet tons of other students. You're going to meet faculty and staff members. People will actually, we have Bulldogs in action that are going to help you move in. So it's pretty cool. So right off the bat, you're going to meet some new people, get into your residence hall, meet any roommates, as well as the other people that are out there helping you get in. Some info on move-in transportation. Students can have vehicles on campus, including first-year students. There's a shuttle also that does laps around campus. So if your residence hall is on one side and you have to go to a class on the other, or if you want to go to the Rock and Eat or wherever, but there's a shuttle that goes around campus. And a lot of people don't know this, but there's actually a bus that goes from Grand Rapids to stops in Cedar Springs and comes up to campus in Big Rapids. And we have a lot of students that come in that way. So, but also kind of convenient if you want to make a trip to Grand Rapids, go to the mall or other things. So in the beginning of the year, we have Bulldog Beginnings, and I cannot tell you how much we're looking forward to this. We always do, but really looking forward to some great in-person welcome activities. This is generally 2 weeks. Sometimes we stretch it out to 3 weeks of just welcome stuff. We have so much different things going on. We'll get into some details in some of them, but it is a tradition. So it's a few weeks long. We might have like a drive-in movie where we put a screen out on the lawn. Usually a movie that's not in theaters but not available to download yet, although there's not a lot of options like that right now. So sometimes we do throwback movies and fun stuff like that. We'll do that one night. We have Big Rapids Beginnings, which actually I think we have coming up on another slide, where we actually take students downtown to learn about like the local businesses. And there's lots of free stuff and giveaways. We have Meyer Back to School, or Meyer Back to Campus, get that name right, where they also do lots of different specials and giveaways, and we bus students from campus down to Meyer. So that's usually a pretty cool event. Office of Multicultural Student Services has Get Acquainted Day. We have Founders Day, which we'll get to. So speaking of our founder, Woodbridge Ferris, and just a little quick history. Big Rapids Industrial School began in 1884, and then it became Ferris Industrial School about a year later. Ferris Institute was founded in 1898, and it became Ferris State College in 63, and Ferris State University, as we know and love it today, in 1987. So just a little bit of info there. So our Bulldog Beginnings activities, there's a variety of them. I do enjoy showing some of these slides. Things like Rec Fest that I think Justin will probably have a little more input on there. We do things like welcome performances. We may have a comedian. We may have something like a headphone disco, which that's what these photos are from. And I don't know if anyone has ever seen or participated in a headphone disco, but it's pretty cool. It's also pretty cool if you're not participating and watching the show. There'll be 2 DJs going, and everyone has headphones that have different channels for each DJ, and they light up. So if you're on the red channel, you listen to this guy, and if you're on the blue channel, you listen to the other person. So on the outside, you don't hear anything if you don't have the headphones on, obviously, but you'll see half the people doing like a country line dance and the other half of the people doing something completely different, and it's pretty hilarious and amazing. So it's kind of been a tradition. We do that a lot as a welcome activity, and sometimes we do it in the spring as well. FYI, we have one this spring, April 23rd, going to be great. I mentioned Big Rapids Beginnings, and Big Rapids is a great community, and that's another one where we get, like I said, we bus people downtown. They usually close a street. There's lots of giveaways and free stuff. Usually there's like some inflatable games. You can see the rock wall there in the photo. You can see there's a Ferris wheel there. See what we did there with Ferris? So there's a lot of fun stuff like that. Founders Day is one of the biggest ones as well. That's the first Thursday of the semester, and it's just a big activity out on the quad. Usually some inflatable games. There's usually like the picnic dinner is out there, barbecue. There's the ice cream social where a lot of the administrators are out there dishing out ice cream. It's just a great fun day. Usually some music on the stage. Kind of a big deal. Oops. As I said, it's a great community. Ferris is a pretty close-knit group. It's not a place with like huge lecture halls where you don't know anyone. Small class sizes, you're going to know your professors and they'll want to know you. Um, you're going to see them out at those events. Founders Day is a great example, but actually at a lot of events, faculty, staff, and their families attend to a lot of things. So very cool community. You're going to get to know people in different ways. Other students too. Students are pretty cool, but you're going to meet a lot of cool people. Bulldog Bonanza, still part of Bulldog Beginnings here. That is our fall kind of student organization fair, as well as a lot of local businesses are out there. We try to do this indoors and outdoors at the University Center, so you can kind of see both photos there of some indoors, some outdoors under the tent. All the student organizations, all 219, but if you ask me tomorrow, there'll probably be 220 because we're like this close to finishing an approval of a new one. And we have everything. There's special interest groups, there's media groups, there's Greek life, leadership organizations, club sports. Like I said, Justin will get into that. There's a little bit of everything. And if you don't find something you want, which I find interesting because there's 200 and some groups, it takes 5 people and an advisor to start an RSO. And that's one of my roles at Ferris. And it's one of the things I really do love because it needs to be a group we don't have. So when someone brings in an idea, it's like, if we don't have it, when we have 200 plus, like, what do you got? And I'm generally impressed when they have a new idea for something we don't have. So that's fun for me. Homecoming, past Bulldog Beginnings, but as I said, year in the life of the Bulldog. So this is usually end of September, early October. Some great homecoming activities. Great way to connect with your friends early in the semester. Some past events, because we do change it every year. There are some traditions we always do, of course. But some different activities we've had are like a lip sync, kickball, bonfire. Some things we, I guess, always do that are true traditions is we, of course, have a pep rally. We also usually have a comedian, which we'll get to that. And our ambassador program, which would be equivalent to a king and queen program, where students actually campaign. There's a student vote, but there's also an application. They have to be part of a student organization. They do an interview. So it's a really cool, actually a few month-long process for those candidates. And then the voting is, of course, during homecoming, which is about a week long, but very cool. Another tradition, winning the football game. That's kind of a thing. So we plan for that. Comedian, as I mentioned, kind of a tradition. So usually like the Thursday or Wednesday of homecoming week, sometimes it depends on the availability of the performer. We have a comedian. Some past examples, we had Michael Che, who's one of the hosts rather of Saturday Night Live Weekend Update, Bo Burnham, Dave Coulier, Nick Offerman. Last year, we had a virtual show, a virtual Q&A, a little bit different, but that provided the opportunity to have an even bigger comedian, and we had John Mulaney. So that was very cool. And it's students and community. Generally, when we have the show, live, quote unquote, normal, tickets will go on sale to students before they go to the general public. There'll be a reduced rate. Example, it might be a $10 ticket. And for the first 2 weeks, only students can buy those tickets. After that, it's going to go up to, the community can buy tickets and they're going to cost them $25-30. So just examples, depends on who it is, but students will always get that advantage and first crack at tickets. And most events are free, but that is one that we do charge a small fee for, but it's going to be lower cost than any other show,
Hey, Nick, quick question.
Yes,
Who decides what entertainers are coming? How are those decisions arrived at when you talk about the variety of acts that come to campus?
Sure. There's a few different ways. There's a lot of it is, well, honestly, it's all student driven, but there's some different student organizations. Okay. I mentioned I'm the advisor to Entertainment Unlimited, who is the campus programming board that does a lot of different activities. Some small stuff like magicians and hypnotists. We do trivia games, grocery bingo, super popular. It's exactly what you think it is. They play bingo and you win a bag of groceries. Some of the most fun is actually the students sponsoring it have to go shopping and buy all this stuff and then bag it up and they have bags of groceries to give away. Sounds weird, but it is pretty cool. Homecoming is a separate student organization. So we have a committee, someone in charge, like subcommittees within there that plan the comedian, that plan the pep rally, that plan the parade. For the homecoming comedian specifically, we do a student survey. So this will be coming out soon, I'd say in April, which I know is like next week. We'll have a list of comedians, we'll have a budget, and we'll get some options of who's gonna kind of go on tour, who could we bring in, and we'll do a poll on social media, like, hey, give us your ideas, and just, here's some that are possible, because we put out realistic examples. Take that student input and kind of go from there, and then work with the agents to put an offer out for someone. Make sure the dates align, make sure the budget is right. It's very student driven. It's one of my favorite things. It's very fun to work with the students and let them make those connections with those agents, do that research. And again, get that student input for just, even if you're not on the committee, your voice is still heard of who should come to campus.
Yeah, very student centered, and it's good that students are picking it, because if it were you and I, probably different generation there.
Yep, if it's someone I've never heard of, it might be a good sign. I may have said that out loud before, but it's fun. I do okay, but sometimes I'll come up with something like, who? So, and that goes for a lot of the other events and like concerts and things, which we'll get to later in the presentation. But we'll keep going here. Trying to watch the time. So I think we're going to talk a little club sports, and by we, I mean Justin.
Thanks, Nick. So one thing that you can find on campus, and that's brought to you by University Recreation, are club sports and our intramural sports. So I'll start first with the intramural sports. These are sports that we offer for our students. They're played by Ferris State students and on campus, strictly on campus. We offer a variety of different unique sports with soccer, flag football, basketball, volleyball. We do broom ball on the ice rink. We have table tennis, euchre tournaments. Like I said, a wide range of different types of sports and events for our students. Again, these are played by Ferris State students. You get a group of your friends, your classmates, get out of your dorm, get out of your house, and come play on campus. There is a small charge for these sports per person. But again, we have multiple that you can choose from. And then we also offer club sports. So our club sports are a little bit more competitive than our intramural sports. These teams are, they have tryouts. They travel not only across the state, but throughout the Midwest and even at a national level. So they're a little bit more competitive than intramurals, but not quite a varsity athletic sport. They do get some funding through the university, through student activity fee dollars. But they also raise quite a bit of money on their own to be able to fund these activities. We have roughly 31 club sports. Again, wide range of these. We have swimming, we have car racing, we have bass fishing, ice hockey, volleyball, lacrosse, rugby, and they are both men's, women's, and can be co-ed as well. So a lot of different interests on campus, which is awesome to see the students get together. And like Nick said earlier about the RSOs, if we don't have a club sport and we do have students that are interested, we're always willing to get them together and create that sport.
Athletics, kind of a big deal. Obviously, this year's been the past year has been a little different. But if you feel like just, watching sports, Justin talked a little bit about participating. You can, of course, compete if you make it to one of the teams. But we have a lot of attendance at athletic events when we have them, especially hockey. We have D1 hockey, if you didn't know. It's kind of a big deal and kind of awesome. The dog pound tickets, those are our student section tickets. They will go on sale in the summer, and they usually sell out because they do pretty well. And we've been known to win some things. So it was a couple years back now in 2018. We've been a national finalist for football, and we won the national men's basketball championship. I believe it was the year prior. No, it was the same year. That was 2018. I'm getting some nods. Thank you, guys. The years blend together. It
Yeah,
says, and yet,
athletics. If I just would interject,
yeah,
it's just tremendous success. Of course, Ferris students show their student ID card and get free admission to all the regular season
yes.
home games for everything except hockey. So you want to see those nationally ranked teams: football, women's volleyball, softball, women's soccer, basketball, both men's and women's. See our tennis teams compete. Our golf teams, just show your student ID and you get in free. And the hockey season ticket is definitely the way to go. I'm the public address announcer for hockey, so I get to be at all the home games and the student section. It's the greatest student section in college hockey. It gives us such a home ice advantage. Our students
And
get very thoughtful and creative with the things that they say and what they share with the other team to give us that home ice advantage. And it's a whole lot of fun and a great part of student life here at Ferris State. All right, sorry, Nick, I just had to jump in because
no, you're great.
what comes out of the
You're
dog
good.
pound, it just cracks me up on a weekly basis.
No, and I'm glad you brought it up because the Dog Pound actually became an actual student organization about 2 years ago. So it is a registered student organization with a president, vice president, and I mean the mission and the goal is just hyping up people at the hockey games. But that's great that it's also organized and has some other resources as a student organization. So pretty cool thing to check out. And I honestly had a conversation with the president of the organization about 2 hours ago, so it's fresh in my mind. So the Student Rec Center, I'm thinking Justin wants to talk about that one. I mean, I can if you want, but.
Yeah, I'll take over. So this is the Student Rec Center that's on campus, located right across from the football field. As I said previously, it's free for all students that are enrolled. So there's no tuition fee wrapped up in there. It's completely free, which is pretty unique. A lot of rec centers across the state and the country, they do charge their students. And so we're unique in that aspect. You'll look at the front here. We actually just went through a $6.5 million renovation in 2018. So about 3 years now. We put a lot of time and effort into that for our students. So Nick, feel free to go to the next slide. So we renovated our entire lobby and we wanted to make it more welcoming for our students. Also an area for students to hang out and do homework, chat in between workouts, in between classes, whatnot. You'll see right there on the right-hand side that we do have a rock wall. Again, this is also free for our students. A lot of places will charge for a separate rock wall fee, but we will teach you how to climb. We will teach you how to belay your fellow Bulldogs. And so this is a pretty unique aspect when we are open, like Nick says, quote unquote, during normal times. I think there's another slide there, Nick. So what we did in the renovation is we created a new weight room area for the students to work out. We doubled the size of our old one. That was a ask from our student body. We really took a lot of surveys and considerations from the students that we had on campus during the time of this process. And so it turned out really well. We added all new weight room equipment in that area. We also added a mezzanine upstairs with all new cardio equipment. And then in our current fitness area, again, we added brand new cardio equipment. So a lot of the equipment that you see in our facility is within 3 years old, and the stuff that is not within that 3-year mark, we are working actually right now to get that replaced as we go throughout the summer. So beautiful new facility, still looks brand new to me, doesn't seem 3 years old. And we're a pretty high traffic area. We get anywhere from 800 to probably 1,200 students throughout a Monday and Thursday. So a lot of different students in and out, a lot of great place to meet new people, come hang out with your friends, take a little stress off of that classroom. So, definitely encourage you all to check it out if you're ever on campus.
And just in the Student Rec Center, not just the fitness equipment, but also an opportunity to soak in a hot tub or maybe swim some laps as well.
Yeah, we got a full-size pool. We got a hot tub, which is open a variety of different times throughout the day. We have a lap swim. We have open swim with the basketball hoop. The hot tub's open in the evening. Again, that's free. That's part of the building. We also have 4 full-size basketball courts that we open up for students to come play basketball. A lot of our intramural sports are run on that court as well. We have 3 different studios for students to work out in as well. If you want to do some yoga or some different types of workouts kind of on your own in a more private setting, we have that option available as well, along with the full-size track. So thanks for reminding me about that, Jason.
And let me put another plug in for you right here, Justin. if you are a certified Red Cross lifeguard and you would be interested in a job on campus, please go see Justin Harden at the University Student Recreation Center, because I know that's one of those positions you're always looking to fill, isn't it?
Always looking. And you know, on that too, we employ close to 80 student employees throughout the school year. So we're one of the biggest employers on campus. If you're looking for an on-campus job, we're always usually hiring right around that August, September mark. And so if you're interested in that as well, you can check out our website, and we usually have an announcement on that stuff. So Nick pulled up Family and Friends Weekend. This is something that we've kind of started the past, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago now, and it's actually grown to, I would say, one of the bigger events on campus. We usually tend to bring over 2,000 family and friends of Ferris State students. So our idea behind this was mid-semester, usually, I don't know, late September, mid-October, kind of a couple weeks after homecoming usually. You know, we wanted to bring families and friends of those students that are on campus to our campus to be able to hang out with their student and kind of see what campus life is like. And so we created this Family and Friends Weekend. What we do is we try and center this around a couple different sporting events. So if you wanted to come bring your family to check out either a football game or a basketball game or a hockey game, we've done soccer in the past as well. We usually have a couple of those different events on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Along with those sporting events, though, we also host and put on a wide variety of events throughout the weekend. We usually start on Friday with registration. We've done movie nights. We've decked out the entire university center to make it look like a casino. So we've had some fun family gambling going on. No money, obviously, but just prizes for everybody to win. We try and theme it up too. If it's mid to late October, we'll do like a pumpkin patch type decorating theme. And then on Saturdays, we partner with the Downtown Association, the Business Association. They open up their businesses. We'll provide discounts for family and friends and the students that are visiting for that weekend. Tailgate activities has been a big one, where we have a tailgate party with some yard games, and some free food for families. We've also teamed up with the dining hall services to get discounted meals throughout the weekend as well. So like I said, it's a really fun weekend for the family to come visit you. We get quite a few people, you know, a couple thousand people on campus. Not sure what that's going to look like this fall. Hoping it'll be somewhat similar to the past, but either way, it's been real successful.
Awesome. Okay. That was just the fall. On to winter. No, we'll be cognizant of time here, but just there's so much going on. And of course, there's so much in the fall, but it keeps going. We're not done yet, so don't worry. On to winter. So it doesn't really slow anyone down. And I love the photo of the Woodbridge statue with the scarf on. So, but people get out and about. Stuff is still going on in the winter. Towards the end of the semester, you know, December or so, always stuff to do. Well, there's stuff earlier in the semester too, as we just talked about, but you can check out a winter concert over at Williams Auditorium. This past year, they still did that virtually. So things are done differently sometimes, but they're still happening. And that other photo is Pancakes with the President, which happens during finals week. And if you haven't been to the Rock yet, you should. I'm confident you will go. It's pretty good. I do give this one story that I've been at 4 different institutions, and I can say Ferris has the best food. It's good. So still within winter, coming back in January, obviously. MLK week. Lots of activities through that week on MLK Day. We, of course, have a march. We have guest speakers. But we do different activities throughout the week. Service project, some other speakers and interactive events. This past year, a lot was virtual. And it was great. Truthfully, I was able to attend more of it this year in a virtual format than I normally can, just because there's only so many hours in the day. But a lot going on. It's coordinated through the Office of Multicultural Student Services and a lot of student-driven events. So it includes the march. There's a student tribute where the students write different pieces or maybe recite other speeches. And like I said, a variety of guest speakers and just a lot of cool stuff going on. The University Center, kind of a big deal. It's also where the Clacks office is, so stop and say hello. I'm there a lot. When the building opened I think we're on 6 years now. Okay. Six. Thank you, Jason. When it opened, we had a grand opening party. Okay. And we basically had a different activities on every floor. There's 3 floors, stuff in different departments. We had offices open as just kind of an open house, I guess. And it was such a big event. We do it every year now. So there's an anniversary party. You can see some of the photos there from it. And again, it's been numerous years. So there's some VR simulators. We've done those where you kind of stand in the middle. We've had ones that are kind of like riding on a motorcycle. You can see in the other photo, the living statues, which are super impressive. And it's a little creepy. I'm just going to be honest, but it's pretty cool and impressive too. We give out tons of free food. We've been known to bring in the mechanical bulldog. See what we did there? It's a bulldog. So, and thank you to the young lady in the photo who, wore the right socks. And we got such a good photo to use for stuff like this. The photo next to it there is actually in the university center in the multi-purpose rooms where we do a lot of events like big ballroom for different activities. We brought in a roller skating rink. That's actually a mobile roller skating rink where the pieces kind of fit together like a puzzle and had a bunch of black lights. And I believe, had over 100 people roller skating at once. It's pretty cool. And we're on to spring. And how great of a photo is that one? So as the weather gets nicer, not that it's that bad before then, we can do a little bit more outdoors. So as it warms up, people kind of energy looks outdoors. There's some unique opportunities. Justin mentioned the climbing wall, which is indoor fun, but still very active. There's a ropes course and khaki golf course. And if you do love climbing, like Justin said, you could become a certified belayer at the climbing wall. The ropes course, also very cool, just outside of campus. And khaki golf course also, just all right there. So very convenient, very cool. Lots of other stuff too. You can see just people playing Frisbee, out on the lawn. There's in the spring, summer, farmer's market downtown. We usually actually plan some events. We'll say we actually walk down to the farmer's market, as a group. It's that close. So, bring a bag if you buy a bunch of vegetables, but otherwise, pretty convenient. There's always tubing on the river. There is also a disc golf course, kind of downtownish, which is very cool. We planned that trip probably 3 summers ago. I was really impressed. I'd never done that before. So also another really great resource. And we do have a disc sports club.
I was just, guys, so we gotta plug the disc golf team or disc sports club. They compete here at the North End Riverside Park, which is a city of Big Rapids Park. But if I'm not mistaken, 3 national championships won by Ferris State in the last 5 or 6 years. Is that right?
Yeah, 3 out of the last 5, and they're heading down in, I want to say, 2 weeks to compete in the national tournament as well. So yeah, and there's actually one. Well, it's built on campus now, and so there's one right on campus where you don't even have to leave campus to play that.
Hey, while we're talking about some outdoor stuff, one thing I wanted to pivot towards, let's say somebody's up here studying and they decide they'd like to enjoy some of the beautiful nature that abounds here with the thousands of acres of public forest land, dozens of inland lakes, the second longest river in Michigan, the Muskegon right here, just an hour from Lake Michigan. Somebody wants to camp, but all their camping gear is back home. Are they stuck?
Not at all, Jason. So we actually rent out a bunch of camping gear in our facility at the rec center. We have tents, sleeping bags, sleeping pads, chairs, cooking supplies. We have a bunch of hammocks as well that you can rent out. And I mean, you can go, if you forget all your gear, you could go camping for the weekend for like $15. It's really cheap to get all of that stuff. We try to make it affordable for students. Like Jason said, there's hundreds of trails located within 30, 40 miles of campus. Lots to do if you do like the outdoors, and the fall and the spring are a great time to get out and enjoy that.
And if you're really nice to Justin, he might tell you where he catches the big ones.
Maybe.
Or maybe, or might not.
And we do have an outdoor club. We have an RSO for that.
Yep.
Awesome.
And the fishing team as well, the Fit Club fishing
Right.
team. They've done real well on the Michigan Bass Circuit, Collegiate Bass Circuit.
Okay, also we're in spring, right? Yeah, still the spring. Music Takes Action is our annual concert. So I said we usually do a big comedian in the fall for homecoming, Music Takes Action, larger musical act in the spring. It is planned by Entertainment Unlimited, the programming board. So shameless plug for one of the groups I advise. And it's usually a partnership with a local charity in some way, a benefit show, an awareness show. So there'll always be some sort of component like that. Some of the previous acts, I mean, you'll see some photos up there. Frankie Ballard, who's from Michigan. 1,000 Horses opened that show. Black Bear, Jesse McCartney and Max. I had a very awkward hug from Max, but he seemed to be a nice guy. Other performers, Lupe Fiasco, Mayor Hawthorne, Big Crit, and others. But usually a pretty significant name, and it's a collaboration. Like I said, Entertainment Unlimited books the show, and I mean, they really plan it. But also the Music Entertainment Business Association helps with the stage crew. LAE, the criminal justice group, does the security. So it's a collaboration all around. Again, very student driven. It's really cool to see it all come together and having these different organizations take part. The hospitality student organization does hospitality for the performers. It's just really cool. I mean, and it's definitely my world and I'm in the middle of it, but boy, is that a cool thing.
Well, one of the great things about the involvement that is possible here on campus and what students can do is so much of it can be tied directly into the career that they're pursuing. And you just referenced it. Criminal justice students working security, hospitality management's working the event side of it and hospitality. The music and entertainment management students working on the booking and the coordinating and the sound and lights. It just goes on. And that's, right in line with what Ferris State is all about. Let's make sure you don't just learn things. Let's learn how to do them. Let's have experiential learning. Let's put you in environments where you can actually apply what you've learned in the classroom in real world settings to better prepare you to enter that career upon graduation.
No, it's very cool, those opportunities and when it all comes together. Service opportunities, speaking of opportunities, service opportunities. So still true today. Our founder knew civic engagement was important. Students volunteer over 39,000 hours per year when you add it all up. That's over 4.5 years total. So I mentioned student organizations. Their executive boards, of course, have a president and a vice president, treasurer, secretary, what you'd expect. Every one of those organizations also has a community service chairperson that's either planning that service for the organization, taking part in service, just providing those opportunities to its members. So kind of a big deal, kind of important, actually really important. One of the big ones is also the big event, which is actually coming up in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, April 17th, whenever that is. And it's one big day of service. It is the largest service project we do each year. Student government coordinates it. They hold the event every spring. Over 1,800 volunteers spend one full day just cleaning and doing service in the community at over 300 locations, give or take. A lot of it is we have local residents who just sign up of like, what do they need? They need the yard cleaned up and the leaves raked. Do they need something painted? So student government spends a semester contacting those community members, or they kind of contact us and put that together of all the list of what needs to be done. And then we have volunteers sign up, and some of it is just individual students. Sometimes it's a student organization that all wants to do some like bonding together. It's like we have 10 members, so you're going to get a bigger project that needs 10 members. And then we send them out in the community for the day to go do service. It's really cool. It's just, I mean, you can really see the impact of it. So, and it is a tradition that happens every April. It is on a Saturday, usually like the second to last, maybe the last Saturday in April, depending on how the academic year plays out, and how the weather holds out, because sometimes it has to get rescheduled, unfortunately. But yeah, great event. Very excited that it's coming back this year because we weren't able to hold it in the traditional format. Also fresh in my mind because I've had conversations about that today, and The form to sign up should be live tomorrow, FYI. Okay, as we wrap up here, although of course open to questions, ask away. We can talk about this stuff a lot. Here's our social media to check it out. So Ferris Life, Ferris Clacks, FSU OMSS, which is Office of Multicultural Student Services, and Ferris UREC, University Recreation. So you can find us on all the socials, and we all repost and link to each other, so it's easy to find if you just jump on one. But we're going to promote everybody out there with that.
And we'd ask our guests right now, if you have questions, this is the time to please post those in the chat field so our panelists can get you the information you're seeking while we're waiting for some of our questions to come in here. Big question. I'm a new freshman. Let's say I'm a new freshman to Ferris State. I've been to Founders Day, Bulldog Beginnings. It's been an awesome couple weeks. I went to the Bulldog Bonanza. I saw a bunch of student organizations I'm interested in. How do I get involved? How do I join a student organization, or how do I join a club sports team, or how do I get going with an intramural team? How does that happen?
That's a very good question, Jason. I know we mentioned like joining organizations in the fall, Bulldog Bonanza, but you can join year round pretty much. Depends on the organization. Some might have an intake at certain times, but it's usually rolling enrollment. We have a system we call Bulldog Connect. So you have a Ferris email address. My FSU is kind of the landing page for all the student stuff. You can also check it out, put the link in the chat because it's public too. Every organization has a page in Bulldog Connect. It's just a profile of here's who the organization is, here's their mission statement, and here's how you connect with them. So it'll also list what their meeting times are, but you can reach out anytime. So here's where the meetings are, how to, where they're at, what room, or if they're doing them virtually and what time. But there's also going to be a contact number on there too, which actually just opens up an email to contact the organization to find out. So we try to make it really easy, but if you're having trouble tracking someone down or not finding an organization you want, reach out to Clacks, reach out to me. I love talking about this stuff. I'm guessing you're getting that vibe. So I really like putting that opportunity out there and, sometimes surprising students with what groups we do have. Like, oh, we already have that.
All right. And then Justin, over to you to talk about the club sports. I know you touched on it a little bit, but how does somebody get involved with the club sports team?
Yeah. So Nick talked about it a little bit. We do a event in that Bulldog Beginnings timeframe. Usually it's the first night of the school year. That Monday night is a Rec Fest event, and we showcase all of our club sports and our intramural sports within our facility. We have games, free food, free prizes, things like that. So that's a really good way to meet our club sport presidents and kind of, talk to them one-on-one in person to see if it is something you're willing to join and put your time in. The other thing I would say about both Clacks and University Recreation is we keep our websites up to date. And so if you're on the Ferris homepage and you look at that student life tab, you can find University Recreation, you can find Clacks. There's a lot of information on who to contact specifically. But then, like Nick said, we're in the business of helping students out. So if you ever need any questions, you can always email myself or my employees as well, which you can find on our websites.
Excellent. And Nick has put up the link for the Ferris Presence, which is where you go to connect with Bulldog Connect for the various RSOs here on our campus. Question came in from Kim. Kim wants to know, who should I contact for lifeguarding?
Yeah, Kim, I'm going to drop my email in here real quick. And if you're interested in that for the future, feel free to shoot me an email and we can discuss that going forward. Like Jason said, if you are a certified lifeguard, I will almost guarantee you have a job in my building. So I'll drop that email quick.
And I don't know if that puppy does the backstroke or the breaststroke or what it does, but I love that puppy, Kim. That's a good looking doggy. Good kitty. Okay. Anyhow, I'm regressing here. So Kim, you can contact me here. All right. And Justin's got his email address out there. So we've talked about the sort of things that you can do and how to get involved with those. I always have a laugh when I look at some of the lists of the different registered student organizations, because truly everything. I don't start clubs. The president doesn't start clubs. Nick and Justin don't do it. It's all emanates from our students. So every organization on campus is directly reflective of the current student population, which explains things like the ukulele club, the Sasquatch hunting club, and all the other reasons students find to get together and have fun here on campus. All it takes is yourself and 4 other students. And then, Nick, how do you suggest if someone does want to start an organization, they've come to see you and you're like, wow, we don't have that club, and that's something we really want to get going, and they've got the 5 students, but how do they go about getting an advisor?
You got it. We'll help with that. We can put out some messaging. Sometimes we don't have a pool of advisors sitting around, but it can be any faculty and staff member. And I say it that way. Sometimes we know someone, like, groups do shut down. It happens. Sometimes there's someone who misses advising a group. So there's usually a couple people ready to go, but it could be a faculty member. It could be someone from your classes. It could be a staff member, and we can help promote that. We can put out some messaging to faculty, staff. Hey, someone's trying to start a badminton club. We don't have a badminton club, FYI. And they're looking for an advisor. Do you have some interest in that? And we're happy to promote. And we can help with all those resources. You find the students, you got to create a constitution. We have a template that's very fill in the blank that just kind of shows you, the mission of the organization, a little bit of structure to those officers I mentioned. And we help along the way. And as Jason said, I love those conversations when it's not something we don't have. It's all right, well played. We don't have that. That is, we do have a ukulele club. That is very true. Let's see, archery started in the past year. Business Professionals of America just started last month. We have a video game playing club and a video game design club. I love that. That just different audience. I don't think there's that much overlap either. Like, it's just different audiences. I just think that's cool.
Well, we're so excited that we just got funding approved for the new virtual learning center, which is going to include, my understanding is an esports arena. So there's going to be opportunities for gamers to do their Call of Duty or whatever it is on a larger level. Hey, we got another question coming in from Grace. Grace visited earlier this week. Really enjoyed meeting with her. Does Ferris have any Bible study clubs?
We have numerous faith-based organizations, so you can check that out in Bulldog Connect. And you can sort by category too. So the link I threw in the chat, just search for faith-based and you'll see what is out there. There are quite a few different ones. And one in the works too. We got one group that's probably be up and running by the fall too, but there's already quite a few in there. So.
And when you alluded to it a moment ago, Nick, but a lot of registered student organizations are attached to different majors and fields of study. And really, there is no better way to immerse yourself in your future career and to make friends and people with similar interests than getting involved in one of those student organizations. For example, the Ferris chapter of the American Marketing Association. That group right there, they compete nationally. They're a top 10 national chapter in the country for the American Marketing Association at competitions. And you gotta, that stuff can really help you get into your career, especially when the people interviewing you might have been members of that organization themselves.
Nope, it's great networking opportunities. It's also great experience early on. Like, a lot of times you'll do an internship towards the end of your college experience, the later years. You can join the organization early on and get some of that hands-on experience right now. You don't have to wait till you're a senior to go get your hands dirty. You can go do stuff.
I look at the clock here and I see as time has really moved by quickly, talking about all these things we can do at Ferris outside of the classroom, as we need to start thinking about wrapping up Admitted Student Live here for today. We haven't brought in a couple of our folks from Enrollment Services, so I'd like to take an opportunity right here to give my colleagues here a chance to talk about some very important things happening right now for incoming students. And I'll start with the Director of Orientation, Eric Hayner.
Thank you, Jason. So as you're preparing to start classes this upcoming fall semester, it's important that you go on to ferris.edu and complete the online orientation process. Right below the main header on the Ferris webpage, there's a link that you can go to sign up for orientation. When you're there, you'll have to set up your MyFSU account password if you haven't done that already, and we'll take you step by step right through that. Once you've got your password set up, you can log into your online orientation platform. And all the slides there are specific to you. They're specific to you as a freshman, as you as a main campus student. And you can go through and really learn all that you need to know before you come to Ferris. You can go through it at your own pace, take your time, make sure you understand the information. Some students go through it all in one sitting. It takes about an hour. But if you want to spread it out over the course of a few days, that's totally fine too. It'll save where you left off. When you get to the end, there's a next steps module, and that piece will really take you and give you the instructions for how to sign your housing contract, get your meal plan, what it's going to look like when you get textbooks, the process regarding class registration, and just to give you a little bit of an upfront look at that. Once you complete online orientation, your college is going to reach out to you beginning in early May to set up an appointment with you to schedule for your classes in the beginning of June. So the earlier you complete online orientation, the sooner you'll be able to get an appointment to get your classes scheduled. That means you'll have more of a choice on which classes you have, when they take place, etc. So feel free, go ahead, complete the online orientation process. If you have any questions while you're going through it, there are a lot of resources there, but there's a question mark icon on the left-hand side. When you click on that, it'll allow you to submit a question. It goes directly to me. I can respond back to you, get you those answers. It'll also help populate the FAQ portal in there. And if I don't know the answer, that's fine. I will know somebody who does, and I'll be able to go ahead and help you get that answered. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And thank you for being a part of our visit here today.
All right, thank you, Eric. And I'm going to shift over to Jeff Stewart now, Assistant Director of Admissions. And Jeff and myself, we have been spending a lot of time out on campus these last couple weeks. And with the way the last year has played out, we know there's a lot of students who are planning to come to Ferris this fall or are still considering Ferris, but maybe haven't had a chance to set foot on campus and get a formal campus tour. Jeff, let's talk a little bit about campus visits for admitted students.
Yeah, so we've been doing some golf cart one-on-one tours with our admitted students and have been really enjoying those, seeing students back on campus, seeing our current students even out and about as the weather has been getting nicer. I've seen students coming out of the residence halls a lot more, which has been awesome. And so if you haven't had a chance to visit, we do have some opportunities for you to do so. We're going to be opening up middle of May. I think it's May 17th will be our first actual smaller group presentations that I'll be offering. So for students that are actually still exploring Ferris, wanting to learn more about it, we'll have a presentation tour, and we are gearing up to providing lunch as an option as well. So slowly but surely we're getting back to some of our normal, regularly scheduled programming, which we're very excited about. There were some spots still available for our one-on-one golf cart tours. So I would encourage you, if you're interested in checking that out, if you go to our ferris.edu /visit page, you'll be able to check out the different opportunities for you to explore. In addition to the online orientation, some other things you can be working through as an admitted student would be the financial aid process. If you haven't submitted your FAFSA to us, please do so. Once we get that, we can then process that further, let you know what you're gonna be eligible for in terms of federal, state, and institutional funding to help you pay for your education. And then the housing contract is still live as well. So, and we still have space available in most of our residence halls. And so you can then fill out that housing contract. If you're looking to have a roommate on campus, you can do the YADA assessment as well, which is the roommate matching software. Once all of those things are done, you'll then be able to select your room assignment. And so there's a lot of things that you can be working on. If you've done all of those already, congratulations. I've been working with a lot of students all across the board there, some that are completely ready, some of them that are still working through that process. So just know there's definitely plenty of time to do so, but no day but today to get going on that so that you can get that much closer to becoming a Bulldog. So look forward to having you all here in the fall, and thanks, Nick and Justin, for providing some great information today. I learned a few things too that I'm excited to share on my tours moving forward.
All right, thank you, Jeff. And with that, now let's turn to our expert panelists today for any closing thoughts or comments, and we'll lead with you, Nick.
And unmute. No, thank you, everyone. It's been a good time. I threw my email in the chat there too. Feel free to send me a note, just random questions about Ferris. Do we have this club or that sort of thing? you can find it in Bulldog Connect, but I'm happy to help. And again, happy to talk about any of this stuff anytime. So send me a note. Looking forward to seeing people in the fall.
All right. Thanks, Nick. And closing thoughts or comments, Justin?
Just thank you for joining and thank you for having me today to represent University Recreation. If I just had one comment, I would say there's a lot going on in those first couple weeks of the fall, but don't be nervous, don't be shy, don't be afraid to get out and explore. There's lots going on, lots of free goodies and lots of opportunities to meet people throughout campus. So yeah, don't forget that.
All right. Thank you very much, Justin. Yeah, we want you, when you're a student here at Ferris State, get involved, get engaged on campus. Any college or university is going to be what you make of it. And at Ferris State, we make it very easy for you to make the most of your time here, both inside and outside of the classroom. I want to thank all of you, our panelists, for joining us today, our guests for joining us today. Glad to have you here. We couldn't do it without you. If you do have questions, visit or tap into the resources that have been mentioned today, or go to our website where there is a host of information available. If you're not sure who to ask about something, you can always email admissions@ferris.edu. And if we don't know the answer, we'll get in touch with the right folks that can help you with whatever it is you're looking to learn about Ferris State University. It's a great place. We're moving you, Ferris, forward. Thanks for joining us. We have more Admitted Student Live programs coming up through the spring. We hope that you'll join in on those. And again, never hesitate to reach out and contact us. We're here to help. Thank you so much for being with us, and we'll do it again real soon. Go Bulldogs.